Hey, thanks for tuning in. It's Hooking Up and Tracking Down, 1130 The Tiger. Stink Bay, can you turn down that monitor for us just a little bit, those headphones? There we go. Okay. Really loud in here. Sorry. Hey, it's Gary McCoy, along with the Ranger Pro staffer Steve Graff. We're -1 today. The funny guy. Yep. You know, all the ladies, they call it, hey, where's that funny guy? Mike Eccles, not here today.
He's on the beach with a margarita in his hand right now.
Now, I want you to know, standing true, let me remind you first, though, this segment is brought to you by Cypress Knee Outdoors, Coastal Conservation Association, Louisiana Charter Boats, and the Red River Waterway Commission. Now, Mike texts me the other day, and I'm thinking, man, that's pretty cool of him, because I didn't see the text. I just saw that it was from him. Right. And it was like, that's pretty cool. He's checking on me in this tournament. And so I grabbed my phone, and I looked down and he goes, what's the name of that drink I'm supposed to order down here in the Bahamas?
Oh. He didn't care about your fishing.
Is that not the true character of Eccles or what? I mean, all he cares about is what he's going to order to drink while he's in the Bahamas.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Lord.
Hey, on the show today, all the latest news and issues of the outdoors. Of course, fishing legend and Elite Series pro Larry Nixon.
The man.
He was the first billionaire.
Yeah, there are legends in the sport, Gary, and then there are legends, and he's a legend.
Well, at some point, you have to give way to the knowledge, to the expertise of some of the youth and stuff like that. But Larry can run with them still.
Oh, he is still right there with all the young dogs coming up in this sport. I mean, he can still go out and compete with the best of them.
Oh, yeah.
He is an iconic angler that continues to just do what he does. In the FLW Cup a couple of years ago that was right here on Red River.
Yeah.
Larry was right there in the top 5, competing against all these young bucks that have come up through the years, and you're just like, how does he keep doing that?
And a lot of people don't realize that he's got a real local connection with us because his wife Amy was Amy Brittner, and a lot of the guys that might remember back in the day, Amy's dad was partners in the old drift-in landing on Caddo Lake. Well, then as Toledo Bend got more and more popular, Mr. Brittner bought Pendleton Harbor Marina.
On the Texas side.
Right. And, actually it sits on the Louisiana side of the bridge there. But long and short, Mr. Brittner had that. Bob Brittner, he was a truck driver. Mr. Brittner was a truck driver for Piggly Wiggly Operators Warehouse.
Piggly Wiggly.
And it was the coolest thing because I actually went to high school with Larry's sister-in-law, Mandy.
Oh, okay.
And during that time is when Larry moved to Toledo Bend from Bee Branch, Arkansas, and was guiding down there. Tommy Martin was there. There was Haynes. Jack Haynes was there.
Had the yellow camp house straight across from Pendleton on the Texas side. Yeah, I know where it is.
And there were so many people that cut their teeth in the world of bass fishing on Toledo Bend at that time. And Larry happened to be one of them and met Amy and
he's one of the original Hemp Hill gang guys.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. I really am. And I've never got a chance to fish with Larry. I did fish in the FLW Tour as a co-angler when Larry was on that, still is on that circuit. And I always wanted to draw Larry Nixon. That's the one guy I wanted to draw, and I never got to draw him. But just everybody that fished with him thinks the world of him and said, man, he's a great guy to go out with. And, he takes good care of his co-anglers. And just a special guy. Okay,
skeet shoot in Natchitoches this weekend. What are we doing?
It's the PSA Skeet Shoot. It's this Saturday the 20th from 8 till 12 noon. They got $10 catfish dinners that they'll also be selling. Range fee is going to be $100. It's a fundraiser for the Nepal earthquake victims down there. Knowlton Causey, big pharmacist right there in Causey's Pharmacy right there in Natchitoches, and a member of our church, Knowlton is, see him every Sunday. Great guy, great family. Is a great shooter, is a big part of the shooting sports right there in Natchitoches. You need to give him a call at 318-663-4964, 663-4964. Again, Knowlton Causey, 663-4964. This is a great event. They're going to have a really good turnout. Now, caution. Up till now, you couldn't get to the range because of the Red River has come up in an area that cuts off the range.
It come over the road?
It came over the road.
Yeah.
I think it's back down now, about a 1.5 feet, 2 feet, so the water has dropped, so I think they're going to be just fine.
Okay.
So, but it's at the Natchitoches shooting range right there at Grand Decor.
You just said something that I wanted to find out about you, because I know later in the show, we've got right or wrong. New segment that we introduced, and we're going to bring out an issue then. But I want to ask you your personal beliefs on this, because you said you see the druggist, the pharmacist, every Sunday at church. If you got a 2-day bass tournament, will you fish on Sunday?
I will not commit to a circuit that is held on Sunday.
But now, if it was a 2-day championship.
If it's a 2-day championship, one time a year, yes, I will commit to that, and I will fish. I have one coming up, matter of fact, in September. And that's the only time I ever do that, is if that happens and it just happens to fall on Sunday, I will, if I'm committed to it, I will stay with it. If it's a circuit, well, a good example, Mike did the match championship, this past year, and they were all on Sunday. I'm not committing to that.
Gotcha.
And there are a lot of guys who won't.
That's admirable, brother.
This year he's moving it to Saturday. So guys like me and you I'm gonna go fish it.
Okay.
I'm planning on fishing it.
I'm with you.
Because of that. And now
what about
not everybody's like me or you? But hey, that's just my belief.
Let's just say it's the fall of the year. And I mean, it's the rut, baby. It's crazy.
No, I'm in church first.
Way to go.
Yeah, I'm in church first.
See?
I don't. That's and you can contribute that to my wife and how she brought me up. So she has instilled that in me, and of course now I'm committed to it. And hey, it's what it is.
She raised you.
That's the way she raised me.
All right, the Dwayne Garrett tournament is coming up.
Our good friend Cole Garrett. Great angler. I mean, he's in the elite category, and especially in Northwest Louisiana. Everybody knows him. He's qualified for the Bassmaster Classic. And Cole's dad, a few years ago, passed away. Matter of fact, I guess 9 years ago, passed away. This is the 9th annual Dwayne Garrett Big Bass Tournament, and Cole has been putting this on to honor his dad every year. And normally it's been on Black Lake, Gary, which is, you and I both know, is a great place to have a big bass tournament. They get some.
Now, this is a fundraiser.
Yeah, it's a fundraiser. It's for a scholarship program for a Wynn Parish student.
Right.
That's selected. So that's all the proceeds go for that. Entry fee, but by the way, it's going to be on Sibley Lake. Cole has moved it from Black Lake because Red River's all backed up into Black Lake right now. The water's extremely high. So they've moved this event to Sibley Lake in Natchitoches, at the Oak Grove Landing on Highway 504, which is on the west end of the lake. And so it's June the 27th, not this coming Father's Day weekend, but the next weekend, June 27th. Entry fees $50 per person. They have a kids division for 12 and under. It's a $20 entry fee for that. Side pot, which is optional, is $10. Is
that a big bass side pot?
Yeah, big bass side pot. Overall, 100% guaranteed payback. First place overall is $1,000. Second place is $500. Third place is $400. Fourth place is $200. Payouts are per hour.
Don't you know somebody lives on Sibley Lake?
Yeah, I do.
You think me and you fish at?
We could have if I wasn't going to Atlanta to pick up my son.
Oh, dang, man.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'd already made plans.
We got some inside info on that.
And once again, the wife intervened and said, no, you're going to Atlanta. So like you go to church, you're going to Atlanta.
She continues to raise you.
She continues to steer me in the right direction. Payouts are they do have an hourly payout from $150 for first, $125 for second, $100 for third, $75 for fourth. Closest bass to 2 pounds will win $500. Smallest bass will win $250. That's my category right there that I would have a shot at.
There we go.
Start time is 5:30. You can launch anywhere on the lake. Start fishing at 5:30. T-shirts are $15. They'll be required for a T-shirt. Required for the T-shirt hour. 7 payouts all the way through 2 o'clock, 7 to 2 o'clock. Anyway, just a lot of information here. Again, in the registration.
Is all that on our website?
It's going to be. It's going to be on. It's going to be on our Facebook page.
Okay.
Early registration will be at the Oak Grove Boat Ramp from 5 to 8 on Friday, the 26th. You can register also the morning of the tournament from 4 to 6 right there at the Oak Grove Ramp. But then you can, if you go and register Friday, though, you can go launch anywhere you want. There's 2 major launches on Sibley Lake. So Oak Grove Ramp will get crowded real quick.
Okay.
So there's a lot of room at the other public ramp to launch, and plenty of room there. That's where we had the high school state championship out of the other ramp. So, but go register early and check. And that way you can be on the water at 5:30 in the morning and start fishing. So,
okay. Cool.
But anyway.
22nd annual Skeeter Owners Big Bass Tournament this past weekend on Lake Fork.
Yeah.
It was Saturday and Sunday. And right here in front of me, I got the top 10 and some local guys. And I want you to know that there's The name Gary McCoy is nowhere on this list.
And I was looking for it, too.
Yeah, I was trying.
I was anticipating.
Congratulations to Walter Thomas Jr. of Alba. He was a local boy. Had the big fish of the tournament, won that FX20 Skeeter 250 Yamaha show 1066.
Wow, that's a good
1060 was a good fish.
That's a good fish.
Todd Thompson of Sherman had a 933. Rex Schneider of Taylor, Texas had a 911. Mark Smith of Fort Worth had a 901. Daryl Severio of Prairieville, Louisiana, had an 852. Billy Baker Jr. of Port Gibson, Mississippi had an 8.5
Billy
or 8.50.
Baker Jr. That name rings a bell.
Yeah.
I think he's originally a Louisiana guy. Anybody from Mount Pleasant on there?
No.
No? Oh, that's
Jay Eichler of Krugerville had an 849. John McClellan of Gilmer had an 8.17. Corey Letta of Victoria, Texas, came in with an 8.16. And Doug Long of Clinton, Missouri. Dang. We know somebody else from Clinton. Had a 8.08.
Who we know from Clinton?
Dion.
He's from Clinton, Missouri?
Well, yeah, it's Clinton. What's that other little town right there? There's another. Yeah.
Branson.
Ava.
Oh, Ava.
Yeah.
Right
there in that little
I know
area.
where you're at now.
Okay. Locally.
Yeah.
Hats off to
How
these
the
guys.
local guys do.
Yeah. Hey, Clinton Raspberry of Shreveport had a 666. I'd have thrown that fish away. I'm just
666, and that wasn't in the slide?
No. Weighed 666, $700.
That's a football, dude.
Long skinny. No. Long skinny.
Oh, he went
was
over
over 24.
Really?
It was over 24.
What if it's a northern strain? You think it's a northern or Florida?
No, that was northern.
That has to be, yeah.
Derek Harper of Bossier City had a 6.12 that was over. $500. Ben Potter of Houghton. There was Houghton was in the house.
Houghton was in the house.
Just wasn't this hot night. And you know what? I think if I remember right, Ben Potter was leading. They give away another boat for the biggest fish under the slot.
Oh, wow.
And I think there for a little bit, Ben was leading that. He wound up ultimately, he got $700. He won an hour. Do what now?
Fully rigged?
Fully rigged.
Really?
Fully rigged boat for the biggest fish under, which wound up being a 2.92, I think.
Wow.
Just think about that. Now, they said that in years past, they have had fish over 3 pounds that didn't make 16 inches.
So it's 16 to 24, or was it 17?
16 to 24 is the slot. So they had a fish under 16 inches that weighed over 3 pounds.
Wow.
This year, though, I think like it was 292. Richard Faulkner of Shreveport had a 252. Burl Crosby of Benton, way to go, brother. He had a 242. John Bradley of Minden had a 237, and so did Ryan Clark of Shreveport. He had a 237. So some local boys did good.
How was the turnout, Gary? Was it a great turnout?
Largest turnout they've ever had. The most number of boats and the largest number of anglers. I want to say they had 2,100 anglers, something like 800 boats in the tournament.
Well, I'll tell you what, my hat's off to, even though I'm not a Skeeter guy, I'm a Ranger guy, as you well know. You've been a Ranger guy before. Ranger has got to get a little more aggressive. Skeeter is kicking their butt.
Dude, let me tell you right
when it comes to Bass Champs, Skeeter Owners
Bass Champs
Tournament.
was the big sponsor of this.
Yeah, Skeeter Owners Tournament. They're just real aggressive right now in the marketplace in terms of marketing, advertisement, and promotion. I just think that, man, Ranger needs to take a page here from Skeeter right now and see if they can't. I'm tired of them out doing that.
You know, it was kind of cool though, because in the registration tent that we went to, Lonnie Stanley was there, and he's working for Robert and William Hale now.
Yeah, right.
They got that.
No longer have Stanley Lures.
Do what now?
He doesn't have Stanley Lures.
No, the Hales have it.
Right.
And in fact, they've got a number of different companies that are in there now. And I got to visit him with Lonnie, and he's still just one of the nicest, most down-to-earth human beings that you could ever want to be around.
And we'll talk fishing, it's a drop of a hat.
Yeah.
He's literally one of the guys you can walk up to.
Yeah.
And just start talking to.
Well, and William Hale is that same way. Robert's really, really, educated. I just happen to know William a lot better.
Right.
And William has forgotten more about bass fishing than most of us will ever know.
Remember No Hale Crawworm came out?
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
And you know to still catch fish, and I got a treasure full of them at home, and I never throw them anymore. I wonder why.
Let me show you how to fish with those.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just bring them up here. I'll show you how to
when you
fish.
take me to Toledo Bend, I'll bring them.
Come on. We're headed that way. Hey, on the way, the latest news and issues of the outdoors. It's hooking up and tracking down 11:30. The Tiger.
Toledo Fiberglass specializes in fiberglass restoration, offering fiberglass repair on all major brands of ski and bass boats. Al Drew and his staff will get you back on the water where you belong. Everything from metal flake scratches to recarpeting, Toledo Fiberglass can fix it. It's also home of the Gorilla Hull and the headquarters of the Minn Kota Talon Shallow Water Anchor System. So the next time you need fiberglass repairs or restoration, go see Toledo Fiberglass just off the Texas Highway or call 800-554-5452.
Welcome to the Natchitoches Shooting Range, where you can participate in many exciting activities such as trap, skeet, 5-stand, sporting clays, cowboy action shoots, and many others. Individual memberships and family memberships are available, but the public is welcome. Come enjoy yourself at the Natchitoches Shooting Range on Tawson Island Road, just before the Grand Ecour Bridge.
This segment presented by BioBore Fuel Treatment, Daiwa Rods and Reels, Paul's Farm and Garden, and Bayou Outdoors Supercenter, the #1 Ranger boat dealer nationwide for 2014. Back to the top 3 minds in radio today. Yeah, right. Steve Graff, Gary McCoy, and Mike Eccles.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us. Gary McCoy, along with the Ranger Pro staffer Steve Graff, Mike Eccles in the Bahamas on a big, huge boat right now. You think he's figured out a way how to fish off the back of that thing?
You know he has.
Well, was he a
redneck?
Is it a cruise, or was he just going into the Bahamas?
No, they wasn't a cruise, because I asked him the same question when I talked to him the day before he left. I talked to him Thursday, and he said, no, it's not a cruise. We're flying down there, and they're staying at some resort. I don't know if it's Sandals or what, or, you know.
You know what? Since he's not here, we got to mention this real quickly.
All right.
You know, LSU yesterday maintained their position in the College World Series. And Alex Lang, the freshman pitcher.
Oh, great game.
I mean, after that first inning, he just shut them down.
He settled in, did a great job.
But, you know, we don't ever get to talk about baseball and real sports.
Exactly.
When Eccles is here.
We've been interrupted by now.
Yeah. But what I got a text from a buddy of mine, Chris Lloyd, a little bit earlier, and he goes, you know, what I don't understand about Maneri in this one, he said, you learn when you're coaching 9 and 10-year-olds, why didn't he start Alex Lang in the first game? He says, you don't save pitching. Well, and that's, I mean, you know, man, there's a lot of wisdom. You don't save pitching. You know, if he'd have started Alex Lang in the first game, then he's one day sooner rested if you need him again in the late rounds of the tournament.
Right. Well, let me give you his. I understand his thought process.
Okay, give me the Maneriism.
I'm on Maneri's side on this.
Okay.
As a guy that coached and played a little bit myself, I could relate to this because TCU had a lot of left-handers in their lineup. That was the mindset of Maneri is let me throw a lefty at them, because looking at their statistics, they had struggled against left-handers during the season.
All right.
You know, again, Maneri does his homework.
Yeah.
And it is I can see everybody's like, what the heck? Why didn't he start like, well, it's easy now, but had Poche won, everybody's like, oh, he's a freaking genius.
Yeah.
Now he's got his best pitcher on the second game, get us into the championship round. We're undefeated still. And we've got Poche to come back with. We'll have Lang 2 more days later.
Yeah.
I mean, now here's the deal. Let's be honest. LSU, Poche in the 4th inning had completely shut down TCU.
And well, through the first 3, it was the 4th inning where the wheels came off.
Is when his wheels came off.
Yeah, he throws 2 over the first baseman's head, and the game's over at that point.
It's, you know, and everybody says, well, that wasn't the turning point. The turning point was when the guy got thrown out of home plate.
No.
And I'm like, no. No, I can tell you from experience, when he overthrew that first baseman like he did, I mean,
that's why he overthrew it the second time, because he had not shaken it.
And that is a mental issue with the pitcher, and it's the same in girls softball. It's the same thing in the last place I want the ball hit is back to the pitcher.
Now, I will say this: while I was watching that, the second time that Poche threw the ball over the first baseman's head, if I had been there, I'd have pulled him right then and there, because I would have known you're out. You're not here mentally right now.
Yeah, but the deal is he had literally shut them down.
I know, but
so
at that point,
that would be the
you
hard
got to realize you got to be able to recognize that tendency. You know,
but that's the first time it's happened to him all year.
Well, guess what?
Yeah,
that was the most expensive one.
Now they're playing with their back to the wall.
Yeah.
Now here's the question for LSU, which God, Mike would have done shut us down. I can talk this all day. Now LSU's got to have that third guy. Somebody has got to step up. For them to get back to Poche and get back to Lang, one more guy has just got to step up a little bit.
Yeah.
But LSU's going to hit the ball. They're not hitting the ball very well.
Right.
Let's be honest.
Well,
really,
they're going to have to do a lot better with less than 2 outs.
And when they get runners in scoring position, get the key hit, timely hit. But anyway.
And that's one of the things, I honestly believe that we're still in that gorilla ball mental. And
LSU people are.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and you know what? When you get to Omaha, it's just you're not going to knock that many out of the park, and so you've got to learn to play small ball again.
Did you see Maneri's reaction? They had a runner on second with nobody out in the third inning, I think. Third or fourth? No, they were already down 2-0. It was in the fourth inning, bottom of the fourth. They had a runner on second, nobody out, and he wanted a guy to put the ball on the ground, and he missed the signal. I know what happened. The guy missed the signal the first time, didn't execute the second time, didn't even attempt to bunt, and then all of a sudden he's down 0-2 with 2 pipers right down the pipe, and Maneri's just, I read his lips.
Oh, yeah.
What the are we doing?
Yeah.
He was hot because they didn't execute.
Okay.
But anyway.
In honor of Eccles, we'll return to some fishing and hunting and hooking up and tracking down.
That needs to be another show menu. Talking sports with Gary and Graff.
Come on, I'm ready.
The G&G show.
See. One of the things that I do want to remind you is any of the shows are on our archive.
Yes.
If you're looking for something, somebody that we interviewed in the last couple of weeks, and maybe they were talking about one of the bodies of water, or it was somebody kind of like Jeff Matthews from last week, and you've got a Labrador that you're trying to train right now, and you want to brush up on what he was talking about last week with that. Hop on our website, HUTD.net. Or you can go to the Facebook page. Graph's always putting tips on there, everything from structure fishing to different lures, ways to maintain your boat. And, we've got links on there to, like Johnny Geis is coming up a little bit later. And I got to find out what I did wrong on Lake Fork. Where are the fish right now? Where did these other guys catch them? And Johnny's got a great Facebook page documented with pictures and all kinds of cool stuff. Well, and we link to that.
Another thing, too, Gary, KWKH is Chris Evans and I have done some tips of the week. We've done a series of video tips of the week. We've recorded them. They're posted on the KWKH website.
1130 The Tiger.
1130 The Tiger. You can go there and check it out. And Chris is posting a new one today. A matter of fact, there's some stuff that we've done in the past. And we got 4 or 5 more scheduled to come on here in the next few weeks.
Oh, cool.
So each week we're posting a new one. I'm reposting those on our Facebook page as well.
Okay.
So,
all right, this one is of particular importance if you're a Bossier City Parish or Bossier Parish native. Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries is going to hold some Lake Bistineau public meetings. Public meetings to provide an update of the status of the giant salvinia control efforts and other lake management issues on Lake Bistineau. Meeting is second in a series of public meetings planned to provide current information as well as offer the opportunity for input and discussion. Space limited to the first 100 people. Keep this in mind when making plans to attend. The next one is going to be at 6:30 next Tuesday.
Yes.
June 23rd at the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries Region 1 office in Minden. And that's right there on Highway 80. It's I think the newest of all of them.
I've never been there before.
Well, that's where my boys took their hunter education.
Oh, okay.
And
nice facility.
It's actually close to Clark's.
Okay.
The Clark's Guns.
Yeah, right.
It's not far east of there.
Okay.
So it's really closer to Houghton than Minden, even though it's got a Minden address.
All right. Real quick, this is something we've briefly touched on this in the past, especially during hunting season. And of course, I don't know why we only wait till hunting season to talk about it, but I guess because it's on our mind. But this should be on your mind year round. If you're an outdoors, you're especially if you're a hunter or even a fisherman. Louisiana Operation Game Thief, they issued folks $9,500 in rewards this year.
Wow.
That's pretty good return. So even if you call in and you want to remain anonymous or you want to turn your name in anonymously or whatever, they will.
Oh, that was for information.
That was for information.
We just want your name,
leading to the arrest or conviction. Right?
Yeah.
That's not me. I'm not one of those guys. Let's make sure we're clear on that. My wife has raised me right. Okay. But anyway, at the quarterly meeting on May 23rd in Woodworth, they awarded all this money out. The Louisiana Operation Game Thief Board reviewed a total of 21 cases that included public tips from 23 informants. A total of 31 subjects were apprehended, and a total of 236 offenses were written in regards to the reviewed cases. So, hey, great job, folks. I mean, hey, dial that number. That's all I can tell you. And when that time comes and you see somebody doing something illegal, do not hesitate to call Operation Game Thief.
Soul search for just a minute.
Okay.
I want you to think about this, okay?
All right.
You bump into some guys white perch fishing on Toledo Bend.
Yeah.
And you know that the limit is, what is it, 50? 50 crappie. We'll just say it is.
We'll say 50.
I'm
not for sure either.
But you know for a fact that this guy,
He's got two ice chests full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you say anything?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I do.
Do you say it to them, or do you say it? Do you call game warden?
I actually confronted. Remember on Black Lake? I got a story to tell. On Black Lake, they had the first drawdown they'd had in years.
Yeah.
Okay. This was probably 10 years ago.
Okay.
People doing repairs on their seawalls and their docks and so forth. So they drew the lake down. Well, nobody was monitoring the lake.
Right.
And I pulled up in the parking lot, and I see all these people huddled around the back end of this truck. Mm-hmm. Two of the guys I knew, they weren't the fishermen, but they were guys that I knew that were just looking. And I was like, okay, well, somebody's run over a deer, because this wasn't deer season, but I figured somebody had run over something, or a big turtle or something. Mm-hmm. Well, I walk to the back of this vehicle. There are 6 ice chests in this vehicle. Each ice chest is basically got a certain size fish from 6+ in one ice chest. The next ice chest might have 4 to 6 pounders in it. The next ice chest might have 2 to 3 pounders in it. And then there's another one with 1 pounders and up to 2 pounds. Mm-hmm. And they were all separated, and they were completely full of fish. I lost it. I'm like, what are you doing? First of all, you're way over the limit here. Mm-hmm. I said, I don't understand why you would go out. Well, if I don't catch them, somebody else is going to catch them. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a great attitude. If everybody has your attitude, if all of us standing around this truck did the same thing, there wouldn't be no fish left in Black Lake. Mm-hmm. We could fish that sucker out. I said, especially your big fish. These are your breed fish. Why do you want to keep these 5 and 6 pounders? Dude, I bet he had 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I lost.
Did you call the game warden?
No, I should have called the game warden.
But you didn't.
But I didn't. I didn't. I should have, but I didn't. Yeah. And I was really ticked off.
If that same thing happened again, you calling the game warden?
Yeah, I'm calling the game warden now. Yeah. I would call the game warden now. Because that's totally wrong.
Yeah.
And my point is, actually, I was mad at the game wardens for not monitoring the lake.
Yeah.
But then I got mad at myself 2 or 3 days later, because they can't be everywhere. I saw the incident.
Yeah.
Why didn't I report it?
Sit tight. Larry Nixon is on the way. It's hooking up and track it down. 11:30. The Tiger.
Next stop.
Introducing the latest member of the Yamaha off-road family. It's one of nature's most tenacious, agile, and aggressive creatures. It thrives in the most remote, rugged, and tightly wooded territories. It never steps down from the challenge, and often travels long distances in search of food and adventure. The all-new Yamaha Wolverine. More than an off-road vehicle, it's a whole new animal.
Natchitoches, Louisiana is known for its rich history, and when you talk car buying, Natchitoches Ford has the distinction of selling the very first Ford automobiles in Louisiana. That means they have been satisfying customers for a long time. Friendly people who will make sure you have a great car buying experience. Their no high pressure and hassle-free sales staff will do their best to offer you the best service possible when buying that new car or truck. Family owned and operated, Calvin Braxton Sr. and Jr. want to invite you to stop by and see the guys who started it all in Louisiana car buying at Natchitoches Ford Lincoln, just off the Highway 1 bypass in Natchitoches, or call them at 318-352-3677.
You're listening to Hooking Up and Tracking Down on 1130 The Tiger, presented by Nichols Department Stores, Gary Yamamoto Custom Baits, J&J Exterminating, and Toledo Fiberglass, home of the Gorilla Hull. Check us out on Facebook or go to HUTD.net for tips and tactics to make you a better outdoorsman. Once again, here's Gary, Steve, and Mike.
Hey, thanks for tuning in this morning. It is Gary McCoy along with the Ranger Pro Staffer Steve Graff and Larry Nixon on the phone. We're going to visit with him here in just a sec after a quick word about Natchitoches Ford.
Folks, if you're looking for that new Ford truck, look no further than Natchitoches Ford. Family owned and operated by the Braxton family. They will treat you like one of their own when it comes to making you a great deal on a new or used Ford truck. I am living proof. Natchitoches Ford will put you in the truck of your dreams faster than you can start the engine. With a great sales staff and great service, it's no wonder folks drive from all over the Arklatex to fish to purchase that new car or truck from Natchitoches Ford.
Is that Freudian or what?
I don't think you can fish there, but you can buy a new car or truck, though. That's Natchitoches Ford. Give them a call at 318-352-3677.
And
I had Larry Nixon on my mind, I guess.
You know, this is an incredible opportunity for us. Fishing legend, Elite Series Pro, Larry Nixon on the phone. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
You know what? Graff and I, this is Gary McCoy. Graff and I were sitting here talking about you a minute ago. In that, you know, you guys, the old Hemp Hill gang, you and Jack Haynes and Tommy Martin and some of the guys that were around in the early stages of Toledo Bend, would you say that just because of the incredible fishery that you had at your disposal, that was what prepared you best to become the superstar that you have become in the sport of bass fishing?
There's no doubt. You know, it's one of them lakes that's got all kinds of different structure and cover in it, and it's massive, and it was awesome fishing. You know, give you a lot of confidence in your own abilities, and I would have to say it probably had a lot to do with it.
Well, I remember, Larry, I was fishing co-angler on FLW Tour back in 2003, I think, or 04, one of those 2 years, and I walked up to you and was just proud to meet you, and you took the time out of your day just to visit with me. And I asked you, I said, if I wanted to, you know, turn professional and start trying to do this for a living, I said, what advice will you give me? And you said, go to Toledo Bend and become a guide. He said, you will learn you'll learn every facet of fishing, from structure to timber to grass to ridges to humps. You'll learn it all on Toledo Bend.
That's absolutely right. Not only that, you'd be out there every day if you're a guide. They get a lot of guide service down there. And, you know, to me, that's the whole key to really learning about bass fishing, being on the water every day and having every kind of cover available to, you know, to learn how to sit in deep water and throw at certain little bitty old spots, things that you really got to learn on to fish competitively on the tour.
Well, you know what? Since we've walked off into the Toledo Bend discussion here, you know, of late, over the last couple of years, the south end of the lake has been, you know, the superstar.
On fire.
Yeah. I mean, you know, Housing and Indian Mounds, 6 Mile, you know, any of those areas, that's all been the superstar. Right. But back in the day, you know, it was Converse and B-Sons and San Pat and San Miguel, A1, Wrights, in those areas. If you were headed back to Toledo Bend right now and you had to spend your entire tournament north of the bridge or south of the bridge, where's Larry Nixon going?
Oh, it would be south of the bridge, unless it would be a June tournament. I love to fish the stuff up north in the summertime, but right now, the way the grass is coming back down south, and, you know, there's so many old big bass down there, you can't win a tournament up north hardly anymore unless they're on ledges.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so I would be going down south more than likely.
And that's what Glenn Freeman does over there, Gary. He fishes those. He fishes north of the bridge, but a lot of his stuff is off the channel and the deep water spots over there. He's got a lot of stuff he's put out. Glenn works hard at it too, and he does a great job up there. But Larry's exactly right. South of the bridge is where everything is won now. I mean, unless, like I said, unless you're Glenn Freeman, you just got stuff put out And Larry, why is the grass? Is it because the muddy water just stays muddy on the north end more now? Is that why the grass is not able to? You think to get a new grip on up there?
Yes, it just has not come back, out on them outer ridges and stuff, and that's where you really need it because them big bass. Toledo's one of them flat lakes that's got lots and lots of 4 and 5, 10-foot water way out off the bank, and if you don't have cover on it, you don't have the fish just don't use it like they used to. You'll have a stump bass every now and then, but he don't replace.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And the muddy water and the high water and all that has really hurt the grass on the upper end of the lake, especially on them offshore bars.
Larry Nixon on the phone with us this morning, and obviously you were there before all of the electronics, before everything came out, the navionics and pushing waypoints on a GPS, and
it had timber in the lake.
Yeah, and there was real trees out there.
I had stumps to mark all my stuff.
Amen. Well, you're looking for that big rock. You go down there to the big rock and turn left.
Yeah.
You're headed back to the west. Do you think honestly that it's almost an unfair advantage for these youngsters today to have the technology that they have?
It seems easier.
It does.
Yeah.
What do you think?
What do I think? I wish they didn't have all this stuff. Let's go back to paper maps.
There you go.
Go back in the dark ages.
Go back to Buck Perry days where you're dropping a window weight with a rope and knots in it.
Yeah.
But Larry, you bring up that's a good point though. I heard I think it was Denny Brower said. I hate to quote Denny because I hate to put words in his mouth if he didn't say it, but I really believe it's who it was. But he was saying that the one thing he thinks has happened now is that people who are good anglers now are only because of electronics, to whereas the natural anglers that a lot of you guys are and were, y'all were able to figure them out. And he was like, now these kids coming up, the learning curve has been cut in half so quickly.
Oh yeah. There's 20-year-olds now that they already know what it took me to 40 to learn. And, it took me 20 years, and they know it before they're out of college.
Well, that's one of the most important things to remember is, any idiot can catch a bass.
Yeah.
It's finding the bass.
Exactly.
And especially catch a bass that's hungry.
Right.
It's finding bass that's the key to the whole thing, and then figuring out how to make them bite when they're not hungry.
Yeah.
And that was where guys like Larry came along. You know what? That brings up another topic. If you had a school that you were about to start, and in one class you're holding how to find fish, and in another class you're holding how to catch fish, which one of those two classes is the most important?
Probably how to catch them. That's what I think, because there's so many times, we're fishing for fish that are not feeding, if you can't trip their trigger and surprise them and make them bite, anybody can fish when they're biting. And when they ain't biting, when it's really tough, you gotta do certain things in order to catch one.
See, that's just the opposite of what I thought Larry would say.
Yeah, me too.
Huh. Wow. But now, Larry, let me ask you this. Again, there's been a lot of guys that have come along on fishing the tour for years and years, great fishermen, some of the older guys. What has allowed Larry Nixon to stay at the top of his game and compete tournament in, tournament out with all these young bucks that are coming up? What has allowed Larry Nixon to be still so consistently good?
Oh, my, that's a tough one there. I don't do something that I don't understand. I guess I still fish the same way that I've always fished. I'm a worm man, a jig man, a sinker man, and all that. And I look for areas where I can catch a number of fish. And I don't know. I just haven't changed with the things. I don't like to get into all them big crankbaits and spoons and all them things. I mean, I know when to use them, yeah, but I do what I do best.
So have you stayed true to yourself? In other words, the A-rig and all these new techniques that have come up and out over the years, have you always still continued to just do what you do? You're a flipping guy. You're a worm guy. That's what you just stayed with?
That's right.
Really?
You know what, Larry?
I'm not going to change. I've got all them baits. Believe me, I got them.
Right.
I don't really understand them, and if I get into a big mess of fish or something, I'll pick one of them up and throw it a few casts, but I'm not going to utilize it as a looking tool.
Wow.
See, and I honestly believe that's what Larry does better than anybody else.
Yeah.
Is have confidence in Larry Nixon.
Well, he stayed true to himself.
Right.
Yeah.
To me, that's the most important thing, is have confidence in what you're doing. And, I'll just look for fish that I can catch, and I'm not going to worry about all them other guys.
Okay, another question, and we're not sitting around just bad-mouthing youngsters for knowing more than us.
Well, no.
Because they really are. I mean, honestly, kids nowadays.
They know.
I love it when they're not in a tournament with me.
Well, I'm just telling you right now that, they released here not long ago that in your cell phone right now, is more of a computer than they put the first man on moon with.
Isn't that amazing?
So, the things that are in the GPSs and in the electronics that are available today, I mean, honestly, these kids don't know how good they got it.
Right.
But one of the things that I've noticed, I went over this past weekend and fished the Skeeter Owners Tournament over on Lake Fork, and I have never seen some of the rude behavior that I've ever seen. I mean, it was unbelievable. Things that when I was competing that we'd have never done.
Exactly. I still won't do today.
and it's the nature of the beast, and I understand. I mean, you got 2,100 anglers out there. It's not like a BASS tournament or anything along those lines. But still, I mean, the guys who were my age, I could see that they were acting the right way. Larry, somebody, whether it be FLW, BASS, somebody needs to conduct an etiquette course for some of these youngsters. Would you agree or disagree that, they need to learn, hey, look, this is how we act as grown men around here?
Yeah, sometimes I've thought that'd be a pretty good idea, but I think I'd open up a big can of worms if I jumped up there and grabbed the mic and said, hey, look, you young butt.
Yeah.
Hey, I guarantee you, the smart ones would be listening.
Yeah, I guarantee you. And you get a lot of applause from us older guys, I'll promise you that. Oh, man, the stuff.
Don't be idling around me when I'm trying to fish, dadgummit.
Larry, I know you see it all the time because you've, like I said, you've started. I look at you like Moses on the water. I mean, Larry's been around since Moses. I mean, think about it. Think what this man has seen in his lifetime in bass fishing.
Well, you know what? Larry, obviously you remember this, but Steve, you remember for years we got to watch Larry in that Megabucks tournament.
Yeah.
On the BASS show, when it aired on Saturdays, we got to watch in that Megabucks where Larry's catching that big fish
off the front of the boat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it comes up and throws,
What was that moment like when you stuck that fish?
Oh, it was pretty incredible. It was probably one of the highlights of my career. Just everything that took place there. I would actually have won that event without catching that fish, but when I caught that one there, I said, oh, they're toast now.
What lake was that, Larry?
That was a Harris chain.
Harris chain?
Yeah.
When we come back, we're going to take a quick break, Larry. We want to come back. We want to talk more about the ethical side, and we want to hear some of your stories, just to some of the stuff you have seen on the water, because I know you've got some stories of stuff you have seen on the water. I'm anxious to hear what you got to say on some of these issues, because we've had Dion Hibden, we've had Jimmy Houston. They've all had some good stories. I know you're full of them. So
we got Larry Nixon. Stay close. Hook it up and track it down. 11:30. The Tiger.
God cleans them. I bait the hook with the love of the kingdom.
Wait, excuse me, son. What you need is BioBore EV. It gives you full protection, prevents, and cleans. It protects, stabilizes, and rejuvenates. BioBore EV, that ethanol buster.
Protect your investment with the oldest, most certified family of fuel additives in the world. BioBore, the name you can trust.
The Nashville Sheriff's Office and Sheriff Victor Jones encourage all citizens to remember to be safe, buckle up, and remember, no texting.
Both machines offer two-wheel and four-wheel drive. But even in four-wheel drive mode, the best you're ever going to get on the Rincon is three-wheel drive. The way they tell it, their system is supposed to apply more torque to the wheel with the most traction. But we found the opposite to be true. Go figure. On the Grizzly, you can engage full four-wheel differential lock. All four wheels pulling with maximum traction all the time. You can't get fully locked four-wheel drive on any Honda ATV. Which one would you rather be riding?
Welcome back to Hooking Up and Tracking Down on 1130 The Tiger. This segment presented by Commercial Power Equipment, Santone Lures, Ranger Boats, and Toledo Bend Lake Country. A great place to get away from it all. Toledo Bend. Now back to the guys who just need to go away for a while. Gary McCoy, Steve Graff, and Mike Eccles.
Real treat for us today. Mr. Bass Fishing is what I'm going to call him. Larry Nixon is on the phone with us. And Larry, of course, as we were talking earlier in the show, part of that original Hemp Hill gang on Toledo Bend was guiding down there. And, Larry, I alluded to this. You and I kind of have a connection in that I graduated high school with your sister-in-law, Mandy Brittner.
I'll be done. That's funny.
Let me tell you what now. Those girls... your wife and their sisters and Mr. Bob, the whole gang, just incredible people.
Larry wants to know you have any dirt on her.
No,
no dirt.
She was a little bit older. No, me and Mandy were both nominated we were the most likely to go to jail.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's the gospel.
Well,
but
you won that award.
Yeah. But the long and short is, the long and short is, you're one of us, and yet you kind of had to get out. I tell people all the time, even Jesus wasn't a hit in his own hometown. That's where they killed him.
Yeah.
And so, you were one of us. You were right here as part of that, and you had to get out on a tournament trail in essentially the original days of that. And be able to take bass fishing to parts of the world competitively.
Make a living
at it. And then all of a sudden you became somebody back here.
Yeah.
And that's, that had to, was that not like the greatest, when you left Toledo Bend and you went off to a body of water you've never been to before and you won a tournament, was that more of a charge to you than coming back home and winning one on Toledo?
Oh, yeah. It was always a big deal, to win one out of state or somewhere I'd never been. And one of my first events I ever won was over on Bistineau. That was like the second tournament I ever won. The first one was in Millwood. One was down in South Louisiana on the Atchafalaya Basin. That was my very first one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I really realized, I can do this. By golly, I think I can do this no matter where we go. And but yes, it is a big thrill to win one where you've never been.
Now, how old were you, Larry, when you first started?
I started when I was 27.
Oh, he's old enough. I was going to say 21, 22.
Yeah.
So you started kind of late compared to these kids today.
Oh, shoot, yeah. It took me that long to gather up enough money to pay an entry fee.
What are you, 85 now? How old are you?
I've been doing it 38 years, so how old does that make me?
Wow. Well, you ought to be drawing one of those Social Security checks by now.
He's AARP qualified.
Yeah, I probably am, but I still like making my own money. So
there you go.
About that.
There you go.
Well, now tell me, because all of us, as we get older, things just hurt.
Yeah.
Amen. After you fished a 3-day tournament, are you just aching all over?
Oh, yeah. I made the final last week at Chickamauga, and I had to fish 4 days in a row, and it took me all day Monday to even think about wanting to go back out and bass boat.
Wow.
Yeah, and Larry's referring to a 5th place finish there at Lake Chickamauga, and again, you look at the standings there, and he's the old guy of the bunch. There's a bunch of puppies in there. And Larry's right there in the hunt.
All the time.
All the time. And you're just like, what in the heck, man? I'm like I said, we're in all of you, Larry. And Larry, I do have a question for you. I've asked a lot of anglers this question. I had the privilege of fishing with Kelly Jordan, Dion Hibden, good friends. They've all been on the show, fished with them a little bit, actually. And I've asked them the same question because I fished the pro side of some of the BFLs and Everstarts and stuff like that. How many days of pre-fishing do you think is a good number to put in for an event? Is there a set number?
Well, no, really, there's not, because if you've never been to a body of water and it's huge, it may take you a long time to even get an idea of where to go.
Right.
I only fish 3 days now. I don't fish any extra days. I very rarely ever go pre-fish any body of water. Since we had all that blooming rain, and everything got messed up, I sat around the house there for about 2 weeks, and I told Amy, I said, look, I'm going to Guntersville just to go fishing and get ready for this Chickamauga tournament. And because I just hadn't been.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was probably pretty rusty, so I came over here and fished Guntersville for 2 days before I went down to the Chick, and I feel like that really got me in the groove, got me ready, and that was a good move I made there. But I don't even have a tournament over here. I just did it for me.
Now, when you say you got out of the groove, what is it you are missing? What is it that's missing when you say
you're not
rusty?
in the groove?
Yeah, when you're rusty, what does that mean to the average person?
Well, it's usually not catching fish. So catching fish is habit forming. It's very good for your confidence. And when you go somewhere and you ain't even been there, and all of a sudden, wow, boy, I'm whacking them. Well, when you go somewhere else, it's kind of like, I'm going to catch them here too, even before you wet the first hook.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's important to continue to catch fish.
Okay, you got your worm box sitting over in the corner, and a lot of guys say color is irrelevant.
Yeah.
If you only got to pick 3 colors of worms that Larry Nixon's going to throw, what are those 3 colors?
Green pumpkin, June bug, and plum. Some shade of plum.
Red color. No.
Yeah, some kind of a light purple.
Red buggish.
Yeah, red buggy. Something's got a lot of flake in it. Plum apple. Colors like that.
So you're not one of the old standard. I just want a black. Black goes with everything.
Yeah, black grape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, that black grape's still good on Toledo Bend, but June bug pretty much covers that same thing. It's black grape with green flake in it, and I like a little bit of flash in a worm.
Now, another thing, last question we got for you. We got 2 minutes left here. FLW has made a decision. I've asked every tournament guy, every pro, and they've all had an opinion on it. FLW eliminating the co-angler out of the back of the boat. Good or bad?
Well, I don't really like it because I enjoy fishing with them. A lot of the kids think that they're catching fish that I'm going to catch tomorrow or something like that. But everybody's got their own opinion of it. I've always had a good time with my co-anglers, and I've never had but 1 or 2 that pushed me in any way when we were fishing. And, so it's, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do.
What about that angler like me that gets in the back of the boat and won't shut up?
I want to talk all day.
Do you just kick them out? What do you do?
I have a talk with him occasionally.
That's when you have that T-shirt. You give him "Shut up and fish."
Amen. Amen.
You gotta concentrate when you're fishing. I mean, it's okay to talk sometimes, but when you're struggling, not catching no bass, you better keep your mouth shut.
Amen.
There you go. There you go.
And you know what? Having the wisdom to know the difference in that time is a blessing from the good Lord.
Yeah, Larry'd be like fishing one of my old coaches.
Oh yeah.
Just shut up and run the play. Just run the play. That's what Larry'd be like.
That's right.
Hey, we love you, man. We love you, buddy.
Hey, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Hey, thank you guys. I ain't missed a cast. I'm sitting back here. I got a co-angler up here running my trolling motor, and he's just clogging the water, and I'm kind of trolling along behind him while we talk.
There you
fantastic. Larry Nixon, you just don't know how much we appreciate the fact that, not only have you spent some time with us, but, how well you represented us and Toledo Bend over the last 35 years.
Still my favorite lake in the world.
Larry, thank you, man.
Thank you guys very much.
All right.
Larry Nixon, of course, he is a fishing legend, Elite Series pro. And
FLW pro.
FLW, I mean, when it comes to fishing, honestly, these young guys who might not know who he is, just Google it.
But you need to do your homework. If you don't know who Larry Nixon is, you shouldn't be fishing.
Just Google it.
That would be required learning. That's like not knowing who your presidents were or whatever,
Hooking up and tracking down 11:30, the Tiger.
Nobody sings my songs.
President Roosevelt signed the Bill of Rights.
I've always appreciated the American Legion's
my gratitude to the American Legion.
Thank you all to the American Legion.
We have millions of veterans that are members of our organization. Thank you.
The American Legion. We serve America and its veterans. We pledge ourselves to our veterans, our youth, a strong national defense, and Americanism. These 4 pillars shape our work and what we do for America. There is power in our numbers. We're the largest organization of wartime veterans in the nation. We are 2.5 million members strong, men and women from every state in the nation and around the world. No other veterans organization wields this kind of power. We work relentlessly within our 4 pillars of service, and we succeed. The American Legion takes care of our fellow veterans and their families. We maintain close ties with Congress and the leaders in Washington, D.C. They respect us. They listen to us. We sponsor research and press for medical care and benefits for all veterans and active duty service members, whether they are members of the American Legion or not.
President Roosevelt signs G.I. Joe's Bill of Rights.
You've heard of the GI Bill of Rights, one of the most important pieces of social legislation of the 20th century. It was written and passed largely through the efforts of the American Legion. We were instrumental in the formation of what is now the Department of Veterans Affairs, to make sure our veterans get the care and benefits they are promised and deserve. The young people of our nation are our future. They benefit from exceptional programs and generous scholarships that only the American Legion offers. We provide athletic programs like American Legion Junior Shooting Sports, Legion Baseball, and educational and civics programs like the Oratorical Scholarship Contest and Boys State and Boys Nation.
As Supreme Court Justice Hugo Black stated, the quality of justice that Americans receive should not depend upon the amount of money they have.
We promote citizenship and an appreciation of government. We have all been directly involved in our nation's defense as wartime veterans. We know what policies, tools, and manpower our military needs to protect this great country. We fight to get these things done.
We are all very grateful to have the American Legion on point.
We take our case all the way to the top in Washington, D.C. to ensure that America is prepared for any threat. We are patriots through and through. We believe in our flag and all that it stands for. Our Constitution, our Pledge of Allegiance, our way of life are all fundamental to maintaining our freedom and the standing that we have as the greatest country on earth. We promote and defend these values every day in communities across the nation. These pillars represent not just what we do, but who we are. We're here to serve our fellow veterans, their families, and all of America. We are here for them. We are here for you. The American Legion asks you to join us in our mission. If you share our vision and commitment to America, visit our website at legion.org or your nearest American Legion post today.
I am for the child who's had 7 addresses in a single year because she's in foster care, because her father abused her, and her mother couldn't believe her. She is the child I am for. I am a CASA volunteer. I am you.
You're watching KNTS Digital 19 in Natchitoches, Louisiana. Too hot in the summer, too cold in the winter? and your heating and air conditioning system is burning holes in your paycheck, you need to call Luke at Guy Heating and Air.
We invented and patented the first aerated live well. We're first with higher flotation standards, first to receive a protected design hull copyright, and we're still the only boat with the strength of a solid fiberglass transom. With such a strong focus on non-stop innovation, no other boat enjoys such advanced engineering. Ranger Boats, we're celebrating 40 years of fishing and a lifetime of leadership. Discover Yamaha's VMAX power. When you want the best, choose Yamaha.
Toledo Fiberglass specializes in fiberglass restoration, offering fiberglass repair on all major brands of ski and bass boats. Al Drew and his staff will get you back on the water where you belong. Everything from metal flake scratches to recarpeting, Toledo Fiberglass can fix it. It's also home of the Gorilla Hull and the headquarters of the Minn Kota Talon Shallow Water Anchor System. So the next time you need fiberglass repairs or restoration, go see Toledo Fiberglass just off the Texas Highway or call 800-554-5452.
Welcome back to another hour of the Hooking Up and Tracking Down show on 1130 The Tiger. Presented by Spro Lures, Cypress Knee Outdoors, Rig Wrap, Daiwa Rods and Reels, and Louisiana Charter Boats ASSO. Get hooked and go fishing with Louisiana Charter Boats. Also, take the time to take a kid and introduce him or her to the great outdoors. Now back to Gary, Steve, and Mike.
Hey, it's Gary McCoy, along with the Ranger Pro staffer, Steve Graff. Of course, Mike Eccles, the old mud hen, is he's in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
And God love him, he's used to being in a duck blind or out in a bass boat.
Oh, he is out of his element right now. Hey, have you ever been to the Bahamas?
Yeah.
I know the first trip I made over there, they had these little girls would come up to you and they go, sing to you for a quarter? Sing to you for a quarter?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Mike's singing to people for a quarter. I guess if he gets one of them. What's that drink you told him he had to have?
The Dirty Banana.
The Dirty Banana.
Yeah.
He'll be singing all right.
Hey, on the phone is Jeff Matthews of Midnight Retrievers. This is our second in a 6-week series about dog training. Last week we talked about nutrition and a number of different variables that come into this particular dog. And Jeff, this week we want to actually talk a little bit about pedigrees. My daddy, when I was growing up, my daddy would always look at a fella and he'd say, I don't like that guy. And just by looking at him, and I was like, well, what's wrong with that guy? And he says, well, his eyes are too close together. I don't trust him. His eyes are too close together. And the same thing would come about with my grandfather and dogs. My grandfather never liked a big box head dog. He always said the rounder the dog's head was, the smarter that dog was. Is there any way? I mean, there's no way that there's any truth to that, right?
Probably not.
Okay, good.
Probably all myth.
Mm-hmm.
You do have the big box head, the classic look, I'll call it. And then you have some that some people refer to as a knot head.
Mm-hmm.
On the very top of their head, there's just a round little bump right there. What's smarter, what's not as smart, that's personal opinion. That's all that comes down to, I believe.
But you know what? You can come out of the same litter. You can have 9 puppies in the same litter, and you've got one that is a true Olympic athlete.
Yeah.
And you got 4 or 5 of them that, I mean, God love them, they're just a little slow learners.
That's it.
How do you know what to look for?
Well, really, in a pedigree, what I'm looking for, the first thing I want to know is who are the parents to the puppy? What have they accomplished in their lifetime? As far as, do you hunt with guys that have good hunting dogs and you know both the mom and the dad to the potential litter that you're going to pick out of? Or are you just looking through the paper or on the internet and saying, well, okay, I like this dog's name here, and you just give them a call? A few things that I look for when I'm going to pick out a puppy is, first off, do I know the parents? If not, do the parents have any competition titles to their name? Now, there are several titles that the parents can have. The first would be if the letters NFC are at the beginning of the pedigree And most reputable breeders will have the parent's pedigree on hand that you can look at. If it says NFC before the parent's name, that stands for National Field Champion. That is the best title that you can get on a dog, in my opinion. And then you have a NAFC, which is a National Amateur Field Champion. You have a AFC, which is a Field Champion, Amateur Field Champion. Then you have Qualified All Age, and all of those titles would be at the beginning of the parent's name if they're AKC registered. And then if the title is at the end of either parent's name, it may be a Master Hunter, which would be an MH, which is a very good title, or a Senior Hunter, SH, or a Junior Hunter. So what I'm looking at is the parents. What can they show me that they've done that has proven themselves on paper? Because you may not always know the parents firsthand. So if they have a title, I'm looking at that. Then also if the breeder has had their eyes, their hips, or their elbows checked out, because those are three of the top major things that labs are known for genetically to have wrong with them. And those are relatively easy to have done. The parents have to be a certain age for the hips to be certified. Now, they can be examined at any age, but to be certified, they have to be 2 years or older. And then also there's a new genetic disease that's been out the last 10 years or so in the lab world or the retriever side of things. It's called an EIC, which stands for Exercise-Induced Collapse. And what that means is it affects the dogs. They can only tolerate mild to moderate exercise, but after about 5 to 20 minutes of strenuous activity, it almost looks like a heat stroke or even excitement. They show weakness in their legs, and some dogs, if it's really severe, they may even collapse.
Wow.
So that is a test that the breeder can do on both parents. It's a genetic gene that is passed down to the puppy. And if you have a dad that is a carrier and a mom that is not, then it is okay to pick a puppy out of the litter. But you don't want to pick a puppy from two parents that are known to be carriers or affected, because then that's going to up the chances of your puppy having that EIC gene.
Jeff Matthews from Midnight Retrievers on with us right now.
Okay, Jeff. Sure. The next question. So you do your homework. You look at the paperwork. You look at mom and dad. What their background is. Okay, I'm walking up and I see 8 puppies in a litter here, rolling around, crawling around on top of each other.
All got good parents.
All got good. What am I? Is there a characteristic I'm looking for, and I'm looking at that litter of pups to say I want that one?
Well, some of that is luck, and some of it is, or I should say, a little bit of it's science, and a whole lot of it's luck. Mm-hmm. The things that I look for, I want to see a puppy that's able to function by itself. You know, he doesn't have to be with the rest of the litter. I want to see a puppy that's not the bully, always picking on the other ones, but I also want to see one that's not shying away if I bend down to pet on him too. Mm-hmm. But then also picking a puppy, you know, the breeder of the litter will know which pups are the dominant ones and which ones are the more sensitive dogs of the litter too. So make sure you pick a puppy that fits your lifestyle. If you're a laid-back, easygoing guy, you don't want the puppy that's the most rambunctious, because typically as a puppy, he may mature into that also.
Male or female?
Personal preference for me, I'm always going with a male. That's just what I look for, mainly because you don't have to deal with a heat cycle. And you have a heat cycle on the female during hunting season, and you hunt with a buddy that's got a male, they're not picking up any birds. They got other stuff on their mind.
Oh, amen. So, exactly. That's true.
I thought about that.
Yeah.
So that's really the biggest thing there. But yeah, back to the pedigrees, though, there's another thing that's been out the last 10 years also. It's called CNM, which stands for Central Nuclear Myopathy. And this also is a genetic mutation within the parent's genes. And what that does, it prevents the puppy from having the correct muscle development. And normally you go pick out a pup at 8 weeks old, 7 weeks old, you won't notice that. But between the ages of 2 to 5 months, you'll notice that the muscles in the puppy are not developing the way they should, and they may have an awkward gait to them or an intolerance to any kind of exercise. So I'm really looking.
So they're like kind of like little Mike Eccles puppies. Is that what you're saying?
Well, Mike's got an exceptional dog, so he got really lucky.
No, we're just talking about Mike himself.
Yeah, we're talking about his offspring.
Well, there again, y'all know Mike a lot better than I do. So, but really do your homework on your puppy. You're thinking about buying one. You made the commitment. Okay, this is going to change the way that our lives are now. The cheapest thing that you'll do in owning a puppy is buying the puppy itself. So don't go cheap. Don't get the $100, $200 puppy because Joe Blow next door had a litter. Spend a little more money on a better breeding of dog. And typically, not always, but that takes a lot of the guesswork out of the dog's ability in the future.
You know what? You bring up a good point with that, though. I mean,
but what's a good puppy cost?
Yeah, when all of a sudden I'm looking at a dog whose parents both have NFC before their name,
right?
What on average am I about to spend on this puppy?
You got to think that if you're looking for a dog that has that title, then you're wanting to get into competitions with it.
Oh, okay.
But if both parents had the NFC title, they have gone for sale anywhere between $2,500 and $3,000 for a puppy.
That's not as bad as I thought.
Yeah, it's not as bad as I thought, but that's a lot for a dog.
Oh, it's a lot just for a puppy because you're buying an 8-week-old dog on the basis that the parents are really good, and now you're hoping that this puppy has the same ability to be just like his parents.
Does that come with a couple of pages of excuses to give to your wife?
No, you just make sure you take her and let her pick it out. That's the best way to get out of that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, don't let it be your fault if you pick out the bad one. Make it be hers.
But now that I think about it, that's not that bad a price because I paid about that price for my daughter's puppy.
Yeah,
and he ain't no hunting dog.
Well, and now you've at this point you've just, like you said, you've just got a puppy.
Yeah.
You've still got to begin some training.
Right,
and that's where, somebody like Jeff from Midnight Retrievers comes aboard. And do you know the minute that someone brings a dog to you, Jeff, do you know, this is going to be...
This is going to be a challenge.
This is another one of those Mike Eccles dogs.
Well, man, there are certain personality traits that I look for in a dog. Most of the time the dog has never met me before. Is he friendly to me? Is he shy of me? The bird pen at the house, is he excited about ducks? Is he shy away from them? Can you call his name and he come back to you? Really has any time been spent with a puppy? So many people bring a dog to me and say, well, I didn't want to mess him up. I didn't know what to do. Well, then you're dropping off a 6 or 7 month old dog that doesn't have any social skills and is really already behind by a couple months in training. So, put your time in with your puppy. Treat it just like you would if it was a child. Take it everywhere you possibly can. Socialize it to as many people as you can. How many times have you gone over to a friend's house and the dog just continually wants to jump on you or, doesn't understand its place in the household? Well, take a few steps or in a moment, put the dog on a leash and teach it how to greet someone at the door. Teach your guest how to come over, how to greet your dog also. And the next thing you know, the dog's like, hey, no big deal. We've got guests over here. I'll greet them, and I'll go lay down. And you're like, hey, where'd the dog go? Those are the type of personalities that I look for in a dog, and even as a puppy as it grows older and matures.
You know what? That's another great point. Is there ever a point when the dog's too old? It's like, you know what? We can't teach this old dog a new trick.
It really depends on the dog, Gary. As long as it has a lot of desire and not too many bad habits. Normally, I've got a dog right now that's 1 year and 5 months old, and he just has a tremendous amount of drive, but his obedience is really lacking. So as long as he's a team player and he'll accept the program, he has and shows potential to be a good retriever versus a few 6-month-olds that I have now that are just super laid back, don't know if they want to be a dog, and retrieving is not, on their mind all the time like this 1.5 year old that has not had much training. So I don't think it's so much a time limit on when the dog can be trained. It's just up to the dog. Is it willing to learn?
Now, next week, Jeff, do you want to go into more detail on actually picking a pup? Do we want to do some more on that?
Yeah, I think next week we'll spend a little more time with that, and then we may get into what to do with your puppy after you brought him home.
Okay.
But, the biggest thing about picking out a puppy is you've done your research. Now you've got a puppy. start day one with your puppy when you get it to the house and start training with it. Start spending time with it. And we'll get into some small puppy tips next week on how to get your puppy going in the house, so where if you get home late in the day, your work schedule doesn't allow you to go outside. It may be dark. There's a lot of stuff you can do with an 8-week-old puppy to get him retrieving to start building that desire at an early age.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
This guy, Jeff knows what he's talking about.
Jeff, I got to get you to work with me because my wife's got a little weenie dog.
Oh, sure. I thought you meant train you.
It was.
You can come to my house for that.
My wife's got this little weenie dog, and you were talking about greeting people at the door. I'm just me and this dog are fixing to get sideways. And because my idea of how a dog should greet someone at the door is apparently a lot different than my wife's idea. And
I understand.
I'm going to win this war.
There you go.
Jeff Matthews from Midnight Retrievers. Where exactly? What's the best way for somebody if they've got a desire, they're looking for a puppy, they want to get you involved from the entire process, Jeff? What's the best way for somebody to get hold of you?
Well, the best way is my cell phone number. It's area code 318-422-2605. You give me a call and I want an answer, leave me a message. I love talking dog, and I'll be happy to get back with you. You can find me on Facebook, Jeff Matthews. It's 1T in Matthews. You can find us on our website at midnightretrievers.net. And if you're thinking about getting a puppy, give me a call, and we'll find one for you. Be happy to help you.
That's what I was going to ask you. Could you steer us in the right directions? Because obviously you know where a lot of these puppies are. I mean, you could give us some credible breeders and things of that nature?
Yes, sir. The biggest thing, there's a couple websites out there that deal with nothing but retrievers, and there are litters all over the U.S.
Okay, one last question on that, because you just brought that up. Black, yellow, or chocolate?
My personal preference is black.
Okay.
But it all depends on what you want. I mean, I don't think there's a big difference in the mentality of the dog. If you're looking at pedigrees, there are some very good chocolate dogs out there, well-bred, that I've trained personally, man, that I would hunt with them any day of the week. And I've had some black dogs that he's not going to make it. So it's just really what you do with the puppy. And then also the pedigrees take a lot of the guesswork out.
Fantastic.
Oh, man.
Jeff Matthews, Midnight Retrievers, back again next week. We're going to help you with this puppy now. We're getting everybody ready for duck season this year. And, again, if you're looking to get hold of Jeff, he says the best way to get him is the cell phone, 422. Is that right, Jeff?
Yes, sir.
422-2605. Yeah. And Midnight Retrievers.
Appreciate y'all's time. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jeff. See you next week.
Sit tight now. Right or wrong? Is high fence hunting ethically right or wrong? Next, hooking up and tracking down 11:30, The Tiger.
Natchitoches, Louisiana is known for its rich history, and when you talk car buying, Natchitoches Ford has the distinction of selling the very first Ford automobiles in Louisiana. That means they have been satisfying customers for a long time. Friendly people who will make sure you have a great car buying experience. Their no high pressure and hassle-free sales staff will do their best to offer you the best service possible when buying that new car or truck. Family owned and operated, Calvin Braxton Sr. and Jr. want to invite you to stop by and see the guys who started it all in Louisiana car buying at Natchitoches Ford Lincoln, just off the Highway 1 bypass in Natchitoches, or call them at 318-352-3677.
Hello, I'm Troy Unbehavior. We at Natchitoches Nursing and Rehabilitation proudly support and watch TV17's local programming.
Some things just stayed the same, but not Toledo Town and Tackle. Still the best selection of tackle on the bin. Zoom, dive with Gene LaRue and Sam Tone. Now double the size of the original store, you have twice as much to choose from. With a new deli serving the best hamburgers, pizza, and soft drinks, you'll find something that's sure to fill your belly. They also have a great selection of tees and polo-style shirts. So stop in and treat yourself to the best tackle box on the bin. Toledo Town and Tackle on beautiful Toledo Bend Lake. Don't drive to Shreveport or Alexandria to purchase your hunting and fishing supplies. Cypress Knee Outdoors is Natchitoches Hunting and Fishing Supply headquarters. Top name fishing brands Zoom, Sandtone, Strike King, and Bandit. Hunting supplies like scent blockers, deer attractants, duck calls, and deer stands. Need ammo? They got it. They also have a great supply of outdoor decor to decorate your camp. So make that short drive to Cypress Knee Outdoors, located at 3J's 4-Way, approximately 8 miles south of Natchitoches on Highway 1. Toledo Fiberglass specializes in fiberglass restoration, offering fiberglass repair on all major brands of ski and bass boats. Al Drew and his staff will get you back on the water where you belong. Everything from metal flake scratches to recarpeting, Toledo Fiberglass can fix it. It's also home of the Gorilla Hull and the headquarters of the Minn Kota Talon Shallow Water Anchor System. So the next time you need fiberglass repairs or restoration, go see Toledo Fiberglass just off the Texas Highway or call 800-554-5452.
Welcome back to Hooking Up and Tracking Down on 1130 The Tiger. This segment presented by Bob Seeley Outdoors, Vicious Fishing Line, BioBore Fuel Treatment, and Toledo Town and Tackle, the largest tackle box on the Bend. 1130 The Tiger is proud to announce that the Hooking Up and Tracking Down show is now airing twice each week. So tune in every Saturday morning from 6 to 8 a.m. for another round of Outdoors Radio. Once again, here's Gary McCoy, Mike Eccles, and Steve Graff. Take it away, fellas.
And for all your feed and seed needs, go to Paul's Farm and Garden, located just north of downtown Shreveport off North Market. Food plots are the most important thing to a deer hunter if you want big bucks and a healthy deer herd. Well, Paul and his knowledgeable staff can show you exactly what and how to plant for the deer herd on your lease. As a Purina certified expert dealer, they've got a complete line of quality Purina feed products. So go to paulsfarmandgarden.com and see how they can take care of all your farm and garden needs. Paul's Farm and Garden in Shreveport. And on our right or wrong section here in just a sec, we're going to discuss high fence hunting. But you know what? I want to go back to Jeff Matthews from Midnight Retrievers we just visited with, because you and I just brought up something. This is another one of those right or wrong type situations.
Right.
Don't commit yourself to going out and purchasing this really quality dog, good pedigree, great parents, and then send him over to Jeff Matthews at Midnight Retrievers and have him train. Don't commit yourself to doing that unless you're willing to take that athlete, which is what that dog is.
Oh, it's an athlete.
To take that athlete and work with him every day, 15, 20 minutes every day, spending time with that dog, because honestly, you've done that dog a disservice if you don't understand how important that regimen is. If you think that you're going to go get that dog and you're just going to take him out 6 or 7 times and duck hunt in the winter, and you're going to have this really star athlete dog,
It's like I used to tell parents, Gary, when I was coaching, is that you can send them to me. I'll get them ready to play. I'll work on their fundamentals. They'll be skill corrected. They'll be good players. They'll be ready to roll. But it's not the time I spend with them that's as much important as it is the time you spend with them at home.
Perfect.
On your own, working with your kid in the yard, playing catch, doing soft toss, whatever it is you want to do with your child to make that child better. That's not enough time with me for your kid to be a great player. Same thing with a dog. It's not enough time just to spend with Jeff. He can get him started and get him in the right direction. Now it's up to you as the owner to get that dog where you want him to be.
Okay, new segment, right or wrong?
Yeah.
Plain and simple black and white question.
Yeah, it is. It's
is
real.
high fence hunting ethically right or wrong? Not legally, because it is legal.
Yeah, it's legal.
Is it ethical?
And there's a lot of places doing it.
And you know, honestly, I'm going to take the positive side of this. I think it is ethical.
All right.
I'm not saying that that it's for everybody, but you know, I think that people get the wrong image of high fence hunting. They think that you've gone out and you've high fenced, you've put up a 10-foot fence around a
400-acre perimeter.
1,000 square feet.
Yeah, right.
And what they don't realize is that, yes, you've put up a high fence, but it might be 400, 500, 1,000 acres, you know, and I want to say Ted Newton's place is huge.
Thousands
couple
of
thousands.
Acres. Yeah.
But we're talking about a high fence. There are animals that are on that place, even on 400 acres, that you've never seen.
Yeah, right.
And so is it Is it ethical? Well, sure. I mean, you're hedging your bet because you're controlling the herd. You're controlling their nutrition. You're controlling the management of that herd as far as the size that you're taking off of, out of the herd. Yeah. You're maintaining, some kind of recourse with that particular herd. So,
but don't you feel like though, Gary? Because I've pulled up on these places before. There's several over in Texas, especially out in West Texas, that I've actually hunted around or been around around these owners. When you pull up and you see 8 or 10 bucks that are in the 180 to 200 class, they're in velvet, and you're like, and they're just looking at you like, hey, what's up? I'm just like, really? I mean, why aren't they?
But what time of the year did you pull up and look at them right there?
Well, it was probably late summer,
Again, you can go over to Tommy Brown's place right now, and you can see some huge deer.
Right.
But when hunting season rolls around,
I just
they know.
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah. But they also know when that feeder's going to go off.
Well, true.
See, that's my problem I think I have with it, is that it's like shooting fish in a barrel, as the old saying goes. It's easy to get, shoot fish in a barrel. So is it, I don't know. It just seems like I'm going to go sit on the stand for 15, 20 minutes, and here's going to come a 180 class. Now, here's the thing
But that really doesn't happen.
Well, it does happen sometimes.
Yeah, but as a whole.
Is it common? Yeah. Right. Probably not, but I don't know. I just feel like that's not hunting to me.
Well, now, I'm not one of these kind of guys that's got to go over there and shoot a giraffe.
Right.
Or
a zebra.
Yeah,
exotic game.
Yeah, you're a real man. You killed a horse.
Yeah.
Way to go. Boy, those are tough to find.
Shoulder mount that puppy.
Yeah.
Don't bring it to Gary.
You shot a giraffe, man. I mean, we go to the zoo to look at him, and you shot a giraffe.
And maybe that's the direction we need to go with this, instead of maybe deer necessarily. Maybe the exotics. There are places you can go in Texas and shoot exotic animals.
I've seen them right here.
Leopards and jaguars. And
Chip Killian had those.
But why would you want to shoot a cat like that? Why?
Well, I mean, I can see somebody wanting to shoot, a lion or one of those.
Maybe predator type animal.
But I mean,
a giraffe,
even with an elephant, it's like,
yeah,
dude. How good of a shot do you have to be to hit a freaking elephant?
Well, I don't want to pack that sucker out either.
I'm sorry. I mean, there's no real hey, I shot a house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or a rhino. I shot a tank. I mean, what's the purpose of that? I don't know. I don't get the rush.
Yeah.
Maybe because I've never done it before, maybe.
But I'm sure
now, if I went to Africa on a wild safari hunt, and they're in their element, and I'm going into their world, that may be a little bit more, I might have a different mental approach to that versus I'm going to West Texas and hunt 1,000-acre tract that I know that there's leopards and jaguars out, and I'm going to get one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just not the same to me. But people that have money, this is what they like to do with their money.
Well, and I'm not. What's the place in Dallas? What do they call it?
Safari Club.
I mean, and I understand that, there are those who would think, well, dude, just how freaking important is it that we shoot a deer? I mean, how deadly is a deer?
Right.
And I get that.
But we're controlling the population with them.
Well, they might be controlling the population with elephants. I don't know. The giraffe overpopulation issue.
I had
could
one
be
in my
huge.
backyard the other day.
But when I consider those certain things like that, it's like, to me, if you can't eat it, why shoot it?
Right.
And I've never bellied up to a good giraffe steak before.
No.
I just don't see that happening.
Can you see it above your fireplace on a shoulder mount with a giraffe?
Well, that's not even why I hunt. I mean,
I like a crane in your house.
I love to have a big deer that I've mounted there, in the man room. I love seeing that. But I'm going to tell you right now, for all intents and purposes, I have never once eaten a set of horns that tasted worth a toot.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd just soon shoot a doe to eat.
Right.
I mean, that's where I'm at on that. But when you consider
is it right though, ethically right, to say you're going to go hunt a wildcat in West Texas, that there are wildcats there, they turn these cats loose. It's almost like quail hunting where they put them in a sack, they put them in a sack, they spin them around, drop them on the ground. I've done that. And that ain't hunting to me. That was the worst hunt I've ever been on in my life.
I'm telling you, the most fun I ever had, I went to Nevada Game Birds, Donnie Tubbs' place.
Yeah.
I went to Nevada Game Birds, and they take these pheasants, and they take them up to the top of a big old tower.
And throw them out.
And they really... Release them out of that tank.
Come on, man. Are you kidding me?
That was a blast. Because I love to eat pheasant. You don't miss much.
If you've ever been on a wild quail hunt, as I have been, thanks to Hunter Mulligan and his family have taken me over the years, there is nothing like jumping a wild covey of quail. There is just nothing like that. I've stepped on pen raised birds and had to kick them up to get them to fly.
Yeah.
Well, that ain't fun. I've had them land between my legs, coming from somewhere else. And I'm like, just like the video we saw where the guy snatches one out of the air. We had it posted on our Facebook.
Yeah.
Those are pen raised birds.
Yeah.
Because them wild birds ain't flying to you. They're going this way from you as fast as they can get away from you.
I don't know if you saw the picture I put on Facebook last week. Big bobwhite standing on top of the deck at Lake Fork. Yeah. And apparently, around that area, they still got a lot of good coveys of bobwhites in that area. And that was a big bird that I was looking at. I was thinking, that's a full-grown adult bird.
I've seen quail that look like chickens.
I haven't seen that in our neck of the woods. In the last covey of quail I saw in North Louisiana crossed my driveway.
Yeah.
Crossed my driveway 10 years ago.
Yeah, and you know why?
The fire ants. Yeah.
Yep. Fire ants have literally just destroyed quail habitat in terms of nesting, and it's sad too because I love quail hunting.
One of the things that I want people to consider, and I want you to think about this, we've just had the worst flood since 1945.
Yeah, still going through it.
And we're talking about, all the way down the Red River.
Oh, yeah.
Are we going to see hogs in the next couple of months where we've never seen hogs before? Because guess what bottoms those hogs were in?
Oh, yeah.
When the floods came through.
Exactly. They're on high ground. Maybe now's the time we need to be wiping them out.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yep. Now's the time we probably need to. And I hadn't seen any footage of anybody having a hog problem right now.
If you got traps that aren't baited right now, shame on you.
That's true.
Hook it up and track it down. 11:30, the Tiger.
Legendary quality. At Ranger, it's an unparalleled commitment to incredible strength. With the industry's only pull-truted transom, we don't rely on the upper deck to support the transom and motor. It's a difference so strong, we sliced off this rear deck to show its independence from the transom. From total performance to your peace of mind. Cut open the whole story at rangerstrong.com.
Welcome to the Natchitoches Shooting Range, where you can participate in many exciting activities, such as traps, skeet, 5-stand, sporting clays, cowboy action shoots, and many others. Individual memberships and family memberships are available, but the public is welcome. Come enjoy yourself at the Natchitoches Shooting Range on Tawson Island Road, just before the Grand Ecour Bridge.
Once again, you're listening to the Hooking Up and Tracking Down show on 1130 The Tiger. Presented by the Shreveport Sports Commission, Paul's Farm and Garden, Gamakatsu Hooks, and Natchitoches Ford Lincoln, your Ford truck headquarters for the Arklatex. Now back to the guys who probably fell out of a truck at an early age. Gary, Steve, and Mike.
And I wasn't kidding last week.
I wasn't either.
Well, I got thrown out of the truck.
Yeah, many a time.
On purpose. As we alluded to in the first segment of the show today, I just want to remind you that the big PSA skeet shoot is this Saturday, 8 to noon, $10 catfish dinner. Range fee is $100. It's a fundraiser for the Nepal earthquake victims.
Yes.
Knowlton Causey has got all the info for this at 318-663-4964. And you say they had a little bit of an issue earlier with trying to be able to get to the range, but because the river has receded enough, that there's no problem now.
There's a low place between Highway 6 and Grand Ecour where the shoot's going to take place. The shooting range at Natchitoches shooting range there, and it's just I think water's receded now. It should be fine to get to it. So, real quick, Louisiana charter boats. There is simply no better way to enjoy Louisiana's vast saltwater fishing opportunities than with a licensed professional charter captain. Louisiana charter boat captains are the best in the world at creating an outdoor adventure that you will never forget. And nothing could be easier. Just show up, step in the boat, leave the rest to them. While the day is all about catching fish, Even the ride to the fishing spot can be amazing. So let Louisiana Charter Boats take you on the saltwater trip of a lifetime. Go to LouisianaSaltwater.com, LouisianaSaltwater.com for more info to book your next fishing adventure and get hooked with Louisiana Charter Boats.
Hooking up and tracking down Fishing Guide of the Year for 2014.
Yep.
As Graf said, the jury's still out on 2015.
Yeah, 15's still out.
Yeah, Johnny Geis from Lake Fork. And Johnny, last weekend I was over for the Skeeter Owners Tournament, and I started to call you, and I thought, you know what, I'd probably be the only person that's calling him begging for information, right? Nobody else would be calling him, asking him any questions at this time of the year.
Well, I was calling a few of them that fished the tournament now to see how they did and where they caught them, and 2,100 people fished that tournament, so it was a little busy this last weekend.
That's what I was telling Graf. It set all their records, 22 years, set all their records. They had more entries, more anglers, more boats than they've ever had before, and literally on Saturday, they set the world on fire as far as some big fish with. They had a lot of overs coming in. In 1 hour, they had 3 overs in that one particular hour.
Yeah, I've did the math on that. You divide that by the number of man hours, and it's like fishing 4 years every day to catch one. Though it should have been better. I really believe it should have, but it just proves Lake Fork still got some big fish.
Did you talk to any of the anglers who did well?
I did. I talked to Kai that almost interviewed every one of them because he was trying to figure out where our deep fish went, and a lot of the fish were caught 10 to 15 feet, a little bit shallower than what our target area has been lately. But it looks like we had, for some reason, some fish moved up shallower, mid-range, and that's where a lot of the big fish were caught.
See, that was the biggest problem for me. I stayed out in 20 to 30 feet of water.
Well, was it cloudy?
No, it wasn't. And, I'd been catching 30, 35 bass a day for probably 2 weeks in a row, and then it kind of tapered down to 12 one day, and then all down to 2, and we couldn't mark any fish. And I couldn't believe it. The sand bass disappeared, the blacks disappeared, and just yesterday or day before yesterday, they started showing back up about 20 foot deep. So for some reason, I don't think we had a thermocline or anything like that. Our fish just decided they were going to go shallow for a little while.
I wonder if it's pressure.
Well, it might have been all the boats running up and down the lake because you couldn't fish any of the main community holes on deep structure because a lot of them are close to the buoy lines. And
right.
It was a zoo all week as people came to Fort and started practicing for the Skeeter owners.
Johnny, I got a question. When the lake is as busy as it was, will you just stay completely off of it? Because I'm telling you, I saw some of the rudest anglers I have ever seen in my life.
Well, I very seldom beg customers to reschedule, but I did have Saturday and Sunday booked, and I called the customer and just said, hey, it's not fair to you guys unless you just want to get out there in the boat parade and run the boat up and down there. But we called it off. Yeah, you need to stay out of the way of the tournament anglers. They've got a little money invested there. They're playing for a different bite, and there was plenty of competition out there.
Wow, I don't think I've ever seen some of the behavior that I saw, and I'm like, you're kidding me. Now obviously,
Johnny deals with that all the time.
That wasn't my first rodeo as far as being in a tournament, but it was the first time I had ever seen people act like that.
I just believe we draw a lot of people that don't fish very often for these type of tournaments, and I heard of several boat traders backed into in the parking lot. Nobody leaves a message, that kind of activity. I had a lady drive up to me pretty close to the bridge and said, hey, is this a 515 bridge? And I'm thinking, oh, my God, if they don't even know what bridge it is, I know they don't know that they're running over big stumps either.
Oh, that was one of the other things that we were talking about was seeing some of the guys out there, and it was like either this guy knows the lake better than anybody else or he is about to rip the lower unit off of that boat.
I would imagine the marine dealers are pretty busy after this last weekend. It was a lot of activity, but that's fine. I'm glad everybody comes and fishes Lake Fork, and a lot of people won some checks and had a big time. And I think overall, Bass Champs through the Skeeter Corporation does a great job on the tournament.
Oh, it was an awesome tournament. I mean, some of the stuff, they put out these little rubber duckies, and if you find one of the ducks, you take it up there.
They throw them out on the lake?
Yeah, they throw them out in different places on the lake. And if you do
good
that,
idea.
A good friend of mine, Jeremy Locke, you got to meet Jeremy this past year when you dove hunted with me.
Right.
He and his wife fished in the tournament. They found one of those little rubber ducks, and I want to say he said he had $300 or $400 worth of stuff.
Yeah, their bags of prizes for the rubber ducks are huge bags of tackle and sponsor prizes. But they used to drop them out by a little airplane, little bi-wing plane, and come over, and a lot of people were chasing the duck plane up down the lake, waiting for them to throw them out.
That's not stupid.
Yeah,
that's not stupid.
Well, they need to do that at night when nobody's out there.
Yeah, amen. Okay, so
they'll just drive around the boat, and they'll see a bunch of anglers kind of fishing in the area, and they'll flip a few out of the boat, and they'll come floating by, and somebody gets lucky and finds a rubber ducky.
Johnny, I pulled a Johnny Geis while I was in this tournament.
Uh-oh.
I was fishing, and it was down to the last 15, 20 minutes of the tournament. It was Sunday. I was tired, sunburned. I was ready to go home. I threw a crankbait out. I pulled it down, and the next thing I knew, the world exploded. And I'm thinking to myself, I have won this tournament. I mean,
he got dollar signs in his eyes.
I'm just and I told the boys in the boat with me, I was like, dude, y'all just get the net and get your wallet ready.
I saw the picture of that. There's some big ones in here.
Golly. Long and short, there is a big catfish tournament that's going to be held this weekend.
It is, and they'll have a pretty good turnout for that, and some real good prize money. And man, Lake Fork is it's teeming with big old channel cats right now. And if you get lucky and catch one of the flatheads, or we call them in Louisiana, Opelousas, you catch one of these big Opelousas, you're going to win that tournament.
Now, what's the rules on that, Johnny? Do they have to use a rod and reel, or can they jug it? Can they,
They can fish from the bank, from the pier, live bait. You can't do trot lines or jugs.
Right, okay.
Rod and reel. You can't set out the trot lines.
Right.
I know how I'd win that.
Do you ever got anybody that just wants to go catch the catfish? Because Fork's got some toads in it.
I like to be a catching guide. If somebody says, hey, I want to take some fish home to eat, man, they've been around our bass holes pretty bad or good, whichever way you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have been cutting some heads off the brim because they get hit them and hit them, won't take them, and just use the head, and man, you'll catch all the channel cats you want on cut bait. And then I caught a 6.5 pound black that eat up brim head. Now go figure.
Wow. That just doesn't happen.
Really? That's how I grew up fishing.
I think what's happening, the places I'm fishing are just real good feeding areas. It's kind of like your kitchen table. And when the fish are ready to bite, the sand bass there, the white bass are there, the catfish come in and clean up, and the blacks, they roam around, and they're just enjoying the party too. And you might catch them on live bait, you might catch them on a crankbait, but after it's kind of all over with, the catfish seem to be the last ones there. And you can catch a lot of 2 to 5 pound channel cats right now.
Now, Johnny, for as you've alluded to already, you felt like that the summer pattern is going to go maybe a little deeper into the fall because it started so late. Unless we get an early fall pattern, I guess early fronts come through. How long do you think your summer haunts will hold up this summer?
Well, it's really hard to be accurate on that, but a year before last, it kind of ended the first couple of weeks in August. Now, last year it went almost to Labor Day weekend. I mean, we had a real big catch the last Monday that was on Labor Day weekend. This year, I'm thinking it's going to go right into mid-September because just right now I'm sitting on the back porch. We canceled the trips today and tomorrow because of Hurricane Bill's up here, and man, we've got high winds and probably a 3-inch rain already this morning, and I wouldn't be surprised if our fish stay a little bit shallower longer. Great cover on the lake right now.
Yeah,
you've had a 3-inch rain today.
Really?
Yeah, it's rained all morning, and it's rained hard too. But
we ain't got a drop here in Shreveport.
It's staying right over us, and that's what used to fill up for it. Of course, we're already full now, but we haven't had a good hurricane rain in a long time. But it's just waves and waves and waves of clouds and rain showers coming through right now.
Well, we don't need that up there around Texoma and all that because that's going to eventually end up down here.
Oh, and it is. It's in the Dallas area. I don't know how far north it is. I haven't looked at that, but it's a good day to I've been working on the boat, working on tackle, getting prepared and getting ready for the big bite because it's still great. I went out a little while Monday after the Skeeter tournament. Had a friend in from visiting the house. I said, well, let's go out and ride around. I just wanted to graph a lot, and finally we about 2:00 I found the fish, and they were only in about 18 foot of water instead of the deep that I've been looking at. And in a short period of time, he caught a 8.5, a 7.5, a 6, and a 5. He had about a 30-pound stringer in just a few minutes.
Wow.
I'm ready to get back at that hole.
I would imagine. All right, Johnny, somebody wants to call you right now. Maybe they went over and fished the Skeeter Owners Tournament, and it's like, you know what? This time next year, I'm going to be in contention for that. I got to learn some more about that lake. How do they get hold of Johnny?
Okay, I got a lot of great dates open in July, and it's going to be some fabulous fishing. Number is 972-800-3882. That's area code 972-800-3882. Or you can find me on my website, and it's lakeforkbigfish.com.
And one of the things that I'm always most impressed with Johnny about is on your Facebook page. You're obviously put your customers on display, and they get an opportunity, when they catch these fish, because it's almost a guarantee when you go with Johnny, you're going to catch, if not the biggest fish of your life, you're going to catch some real toads. And there's Johnny, your guide. He takes the time to put it on his Facebook page, and so you've got a bragging point to be able to write back to all your friends and say, see, there I am, and then that's there forever.
Yeah. And the thing I like about Johnny will he'll send you pictures. You don't even have to take pictures. Like I always take pictures with my phone when I go, but I really don't have to do that because Johnny's going to take all the pictures. He'll send them to you.
I try to do that for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's really easy to send a link. I put it on a Dropbox link so they get all the pictures in one little link, and they can share them with their friends and family. And it doesn't take so much time holding the fish out of the water for 3 or 4 cameras to
right.
down.
Oh,
so
good
it's real
point.
Important, and I really take care of the big fish. We get them in, we weigh them, we take a picture, we get them back in the water just as soon as possible.
How often do you think you've caught the same fish multiple times?
I believe I've got some I ought to start naming. They've got different spots on them.
You got them trained, huh? Those are little.
I just call them smiley bass.
Johnny, guys, check him out at lakeforkbigfish.com. Give the phone number one more time, brother.
Great, 972-800-3882. Let's go catching.
Hey, if you're looking for the trip of a lifetime to Lake Fork, and I'm telling you, I mean some big old fish. Johnny Geis is your man.
You can go to our website too and see all the information with Johnny. There's a link direct to Johnny Geis on our website, HUTD.net.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, guys.
Hooking up and tracking down 11:30. The Tiger.
Wait, excuse me, sir. What you need is BioBore EV. It gives you full protection, prevents, and cleans. It protects, stabilizes, and rejuvenates. BioBore EV. That ethanol buster.
Protect your investment with the oldest, most certified family of fuel additives in the world. BioBore, the name you can trust.
When I go shopping, I want camo, fishing tackle, guns, hunting gear, work clothes.
And when I go shopping, I want home decor, gifts, children's, and baby clothes.
Fortunately, we can both get exactly what we need at the same place, Nichols.
All the name brands you can find in the big city without driving to the big city and paying big city prices.
Nichols, keeping folks happy since 1914.
Hey, don't forget to like us on Facebook, where you'll find news, tips, and a little humor. That's the Hooking Up and Tracking Down show on Facebook. Check us out. One more time, here are the guys who really need to miss a meal or two. Gary McCoy, Steve Graff, and Mike Eccles.
And welcome back to Hooking Up and Tracking Down. Golly, our final segment of the day. It's just hard to believe. Time flies by. Gary McCoy, Steve Graff, Mike Eccles on vacation in the Bahamas. He'll be back next week. Folks, there's a huge tournament coming up. It is a little early to really, we're just going to prep it a little bit right now. It's a little early for this, but Holy Angels, Fishing for Angels Fall Bass Classic will be here Saturday, September the 12th on Red River, out of Red River South Marina. Need to continue to pray for those folks, by the way, because they're really struggling with high water down at Red River South Marina. And hopefully within the next month or so, things will be back to normal there at Red River South. But it's a 2-man, 3 bass limit, $200 entry fee per team. Guaranteed first place is $3,000. But the main thing right now, the reason why they won't even promote this right now, they have a raffle going on, Gary. It's a rifle raffle, and it's a DPMS Panther AR-15 that they're raffling off. $10 per ticket. You can get 6 for $50. You can go to Merle's right there in front of Red River South Marina.
Gotcha.
At the restaurant there, they have tickets right now for sale that you can purchase right now for the raffle.
Okay.
Joe Stevens can also be contacted 548-7646, 548-7646, or Jay Peterson at 548-4824, 548-4824.
You know what? You were talking about the flood.
Yeah.
One of our people here in the building was talking to some of the residents in Les Maisons, the subdivision in South Shreveport, that had so much water that got into it. And it was the weirdest thing because this person was telling them that the biggest issue that they've had with insurance was that the insurance companies were telling them that any money that they spent to try to hold back the floodwaters, like if you rented a portable generator pump
to
or
pump it out,
any of the any maybe lumber to build a little fake
a seawall,
none of that money will you get back.
You can't recoup that.
That they would have been, and literally I'm quoting here, that they would have been better to have just allowed the house to flood.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
I'm going to tell you, as you start approaching your boat insurance agent, if that's the same person that's got your homeowners and stuff like, you need to have a little conversation about that, because I'm going to tell you, you never know. You might not live in a quote-unquote flood zone, but you never know when you're going to have a hot water heater explode or something along those lines. And you need to have a good, long heart-to-heart with your insurance agent and just visit about that kind of stuff.
Especially if you're in a 2-story house.
You bet.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, time for some Texas outdoor outlaws.
Yeehaw!
Local landowner witnessed a subject shoot a deer from the road, notified Red River County Game Warden Daniel Rohraback. Witness followed the suspect's vehicle several miles before losing it at the Oklahoma border, but did manage to get a partial plate number. Well, the game warden then contacted the Oklahoma Game Warden's office, got hold of Mark, Hannah, and Kenny Lawson to assist in the investigation. Wardens were able to locate the address of the vehicle's owner. Rohraback then returned to the area of the shooting with a metal detector to locate the shell casings, along with a bullet that was actually still lodged in the chest cavity of the buck. After an unsuccessful attempt to locate and interview the owner of the vehicle, the wardens turned to social media. Facebook done it.
Good. Works every
time. The suspect was found, along with his buddy. Both of them had alias Facebook accounts using the names Chief Deputy and Deputy. Boy, they're original. Both suspects later found at their residence. Suspects admitted to killing a 6-point buck at night from the road in Texas using a .22 caliber rifle. You're going to shoot a deer with a .22?
Yeah, I mean, you better
also
better be a good shot.
They killed another. Well, I mean, not only that. I mean, honestly,
you're more apt to wound the deer.
That's my point.
Yeah, exactly.
Also killing another buck in Oklahoma at night from the road during Oklahoma's archery season. Total of 18 cases were filed in Texas and Oklahoma combined. The deer and rifle were seized. Civil restitution is pending. You know what, though?
Man.
This is CSI.
Yeah.
Deer style.
Exactly. They did their homework.
They did. Hats off to these guys for taking that to the nth degree.
Yeah.
To get their man. I mean, because they could have said, "Oh, we lost him in Oklahoma. Boom, it's over.
It's over.
We can't do this."
Write it off.
And now they've discovered that there were 17 other cases between them and Oklahoma. This wasn't these boys' first rodeo.
Exactly.
And so,
I hope it's their last.
Well, and we just talked to Captain McCarthy here not long ago.
Yeah.
And, we're discussing the fact that, when they approach these clowns, these guys are armed.
Oh, yeah.
So these game wardens, they know they're going into a situation where if somebody don't like the fact that they've been researched.
Right.
They've got a weapon.
Yeah. And again, just like the guy in Monroe who got shot a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
By a convicted felon.
Yeah.
Who had a weapon in the car.
Right.
Knew that if he got checked and they checked the car, he's going to prison.
Right.
So you just never know what you're going to run across, Gary, anymore.
Now, they're game wardens, and rightfully so in some cases, have earned a bad stigma.
Yeah, they are. But it's just like cops. There's some bad apples in every bunch. Yeah.
But for all, for the majority of the whole bunch, they're doing a great job.
Yeah, they are.
I don't mind the fact that they stop me while I'm out fishing and want to check my license or something along those lines. Doesn't bother me at all.
Just don't be rude.
Right, and don't check me again. You just checked me a little while ago. Don't check me again.
And you don't have to be rude.
Right.
Just pull up to me and say, hey, I need to see your license and your fire
check your live well.
Yeah, check your live well, life jackets. Make sure just tell me what you want and let's move on. All right. Best times to fish. And Gary, all 3 days for this coming weekend are rated as very good. Friday, it's an afternoon bite, 2:25 in the afternoon on Friday till 5:26.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday's 3:13 till 6:13 in the afternoon, and then Sunday 3:37 in the afternoon till 6:37 early that evening. So hey, go ahead and catch
question.
your mess of fish.
You're a daddy.
Yeah.
Sunday's Father's Day. Should you get to go fishing Sunday if you wanted to go?
Yeah.
I mean, if you said, I'm just going to go fishing, and y'all can go with me if you want to, if you don't want to, but should you, I mean, it's your day.
Yeah, it'd be after lunch.
But, I mean, should you be like, I want to go fishing?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the rule applies with my wife on Mother's Day. Yeah. Whatever she wants to do, that's what's going to happen. So, now,
God love Julie.
That's mama now.
Well, God love Julie. Julie's always, because our boys were baseball players.
Right.
Julie spent every Mother's Day at a baseball field.
She sacrificed a lot.
At a baseball field somewhere.
Right.
And so, we generally had to have Mother's Day about August.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things.
But at least you had it.
Yeah. But that's something I want guys to think about. It is Father's Day.
Also, check out on Facebook, our Facebook page, Hooking Up and Tracking Down. This week, I just posted, Louisiana Pro Greg Hackney shows you what to look for when you're fishing grass. Mm-hmm. Great little video clip. Also, Bassmaster.
Can you just help us find some grass?
Exactly. Bassmaster Weighmaster Dave Mercer talks jerkbait fishing, and he eats a bug live on the Bassmaster show. You get to see that.
Was it on purpose, or did one just fly?
No, he was challenged with $180, and he ate it on the air there. So it's pretty cool. Mark Zona is encouraging
I've eaten some making that run from Frontier Park up to Circle Drive.
Well, Mark Zona is behind it, so that should tell you all you need to know. And I give you some tackle organizing tips to help save time while you're on the water. So, hey, check all this out on our Facebook page. A lot to look at, a lot to learn, and just hey, I think we're doing a great job.
Okay, you're getting ready for a tournament.
I don't have none until September.
Okay.
So I'm good.
And Eccles has got the championship coming up for his Thursday night circuits here in the next couple of weeks.
Right, Cash Splash.
Isn't that far off.
Nope.
And I do know that they've got a tab on the Bayou Outdoor Supercenter website to where you can open that up and get any information on that.
Right.
Especially if you were thinking about, fishing one of those Thursday evening tournaments. And I'm telling you, he's having, turnouts over 100 anglers a week.
Right. And also next week we'll continue the basic dog training tips with Midnight Retrievers Jeff Matthews, and our Right or Wrong segment will discuss summer bass fishing tournaments, should they be banned or not, with Eccles.
Hooking up, tracking down. 11:30, the Tiger.
Here's this week's final word. With our new segment, Right or Wrong, and so many moral and ethical issues going on in the great outdoors, it seems like everything and every decision is based on politics or how much money you can give to make sure you get your way. Common sense seems to have been lost in the equation of making the right decision. Now it's all about what's best for me and not what's best for the sport and future generations. Many politicians have an agenda or some type of financial or personal gain at stake when these issues come to light. But in reality, it's up to this generation to step up, take a stand, and make the people in charge do what's right and not what's wrong. Till next week, stay safe and may God bless till we meet again with more Hooking Up and Tracking Down.
Natchitoches, Louisiana is known for its rich history, and when you talk car buying, Natchitoches Ford has the distinction of selling the very first Ford automobiles in Louisiana. That means they have been satisfying customers for a long time. Friendly people who will make sure you have a great car buying experience. Their no high pressure and hassle-free sales staff will do their best to offer you the best service possible when buying that new car or truck. Family owned and operated, Calvin Braxton Sr. and Jr. want to invite you to stop by and see the guys who started it all in Louisiana car buying at Natchitoches Ford Lincoln, just off the Highway 1 bypass in Natchitoches, or call them at 318-352-3677.
You're watching KNTS Digital 19 in Natchitoches, Louisiana.